In this video, we'll go over saved calibration data, both in the memory list and on disk. The bottom left box is how to actually calibrate your device. At the top, we have copy from memory list. So you can see here, in the right on the memory list, I received the actual frequency response of this device. So when I choose copy from memory list, I can go and select my SCM measured. Now that I selected this from the memory list, I can choose to invert the curve. Because what I have in the memory list is just the response, I want to invert it to correct out the response of the microphone. I'll hit apply and OK. In the memory list under curves and values, there are two groups called cal. These show the calibration corrections, EQ, and values of all of your devices. So here we can look at SCM3 under the curve table compared to what I copied from the memory list. The correction curve here is inverted because we use the checkbox and normalized to 0 dB at 1 kHz. All calibration curve is also saved on the disk. So in the memory list, if we select Open Data and we go to SoundCheck 15, Steps, Calibration, you can see an input and output data folder. This shows all the calibrated devices that you can see in the system calibration. When they're imported, we can look at the sensitivity, calibration corrections, and gain that were recalled. It also shows the history of the device. You can see when we look at the values here, there's a timestamp of 2016 and then one without a timestamp. Anything without a timestamp is the current up-to-date in-use value. If we look at this dated sensitivity in, 1 kHz equals 20 millivolts per Pascal. If you recall, we changed this, so when we open the unmarked one, it's 19.4 millivolts per Pascal. As you keep calibrating your device, a history will be saved. This can be a good way to check on the performance of a microphone. It can help tell you if it's drifting a lot over time and how stable the device is. We'll go over how to run calibration sequences in separate videos. Let's look at system calibration as a table. We'll click Open Table in the bottom. This brings up an overview of our signal paths. Everything that can be seen in the standard view can also be seen here. Next, we'll look at importing. System calibration is saved in your SoundCheck folder under Steps, Calibration, in a file called system.cal. I'm going to rename what we currently have System Backup, and then append the date. This is good practice to get into once you have your working calibration up. So I'll go in, save again, and when I look at importing, you can see the system.cal that was created by saving, and then the backup with a different name. So here, let me go through and just delete a bunch of signal paths and say I messed something up and needed to go back to my backup. I'll go to import and point to my backup. This message is saying that some calibration paths already exist. And some calibration devices already exist. And here you can see it'll bring back the devices that I deleted. Making a copy of the system.cal file can really help if anything goes wrong with your calibration.